Before we jump into today's video, I just want to give a quick shout out to this video's sponsor, Aoa.com. To buy runes, any item, weapon, or piece of armor in Elden Ring, check out the link in this video's description and use the code MGREZA at checkout for 3% off your purchase. Hey guys, today we are going to find out what is the best staff in Elden Ring. I've leveled up my character to 360 and put 80 stats into all the relevant stats so that we can see the difference between all these staffs. I've also leveled up all my staffs to 25 or plus 10 depending on what they can go to maximum. So to keep this a fair test, we are going to use the same spell every time, and we are going to be using, obviously, the spell that most people use in the game, Glintstone Pebble. One quick thing I want to look at first is the Sorcery Scaling, so we'll have an estimate to see which one we think should be the best. So as we can look here, this one is 430, which is quite high compared to the Staff of the Guilty. This can't scale, so 365, 367, 318, 339. This one surprised me. This looks very strong, and I'm looking forward to trying this out. I thought this was the best staff up until today, so let's see how this one does as well. And then obviously you've got the Lusat's Glintstone staff, which most people in the game think this is the best staff in the game at the moment in time. Maybe this one as it increases your speed a little bit, but I would say most people use either this or this at the moment. So let's see. 777, nice and easy to remember. Next up, the Staff of the Guilty. We've got to beat 777. 512. Next up, the Rotten Crystal Staff. 639. Next up, the Crystal Staff. 645. So actually that was a 10 damage difference, and actually if you look at the sorcery scaling between the two, there's only 2 points in it. Anyway, next up, Gelmir's Glintstone Staff. Only 541. The Staff of Loss. 585. And next up, so this one I'm hoping to do pretty well, but let's see how it does. The Albinauric Staff. 657. So actually, other than this Prince of Death staff, that would be the second highest. So bearing in mind you can only get this later on in the game, this is the best staff so far. Next up, the Carrion Regal Scepter, which I thought was the best staff in the game. 657. Exactly the same. So actually, the staff I thought was the best in the game is equal to the Albinauric staff. I'm tempted to skip these. Let's just go to the interesting ones. Come on, let's see what this does. 742. So actually, not the best staff in the game. Right, next up is the Azur's Glintstone staff. Let's see how this compares. 633. So now putting those staffs in order of best to worst, we have the Prince of Death staff, which was the best. Then we have the Lusat's Glintstone staff in second. Then in a surprising joint third was the Carrion Regal Scepter and the Albinauric staff, doing equal damage. I just want to add, this staff can only be got from the area that Millennia is fought in, so this won't be really something you'll be using until end game. I would also argue that the Lusat's Glintstone staff is the same. You won't be using this until later on in the game because the FP consumption that it uses means you have to put a lot of points into mind just to be able to even use this weapon. I would argue the Carrion Regal Scepter and the Albinauric staff are the two best staffs in the game if you are either early game or mid game. Then once you get into late game, when you've got some more mind, you want to try the Lusat's Glintstone staff, or when you get to the area where Millennia is, check out the Prince of Death staff. It does the best damage in the game, so you'd be silly not to. Anyway, thanks for watching guys, see you next time.